Man, what a World Series, everybody. What a World Series. We were given a treat. You look back at all the way that went down, going 7 games, viewership, especially across the world. Canada and Japan obviously were givens, but even up in the United States, just everyone paying attention pitch by pitch. The heroics, the pitching, the offense, the clutch plays, it delivered. You know, Congratulations on behalf of Spinnable Sports Network, spinnablesports.com, the Irrational Confidence Podcast, Power Alley Podcast. Congratulations to the Dodgers going back to back in your third in the past 5 years. It is amazing. We'll talk about, is it a controversy? They have so much money. We'll deal with that in a second. The fact that they still delivered. We've seen in other sports, our teams put all this money into stuff, and if they just can't finish. The Dodgers did, and it wasn't always just the superstars. It wasn't just Ohtani. It wasn't just Yamamoto. It was guys like Andy Pajes, a couple of relief pitchers who nobody's ever heard of, just stepping up and taking some long innings and delivering. Was Miguel Rojas coming off the bench and hitting a game-tying home run in the ninth, picking up and making plays and delivering when they needed to. You can say, well, they would have been there if it wasn't for all the studs. Yeah, well, you know what? The Blue Jays had top five payroll too. The Phillies, if they were there, I'm like, oh my God, it would have been a chaos if the Phillies had made it or the Yankees had made it. I'm in the same old story. They're all top five payroll teams. If the Mets had made it, which we all know is never going to happen, they'll never win a World Series because they're a joke of a franchise. But if they did, they spent all the money, they'd get there. Uh, People say, we need a salary cap. No, you need a salary floor. Salary floors, there's teams like the Athletics, the Brewers, and I'm a diehard Brewers fan, but still, these smaller markets like Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Colorado, they've got to spend money and build their rosters and make competitive offers to some of these free agents to have them come in there so they don't just go to the Dodgers who can just pay whatever they want. You need to have a minimum floor, and it has to be raised. These owners are making hand over fist. It's got to be a change there because if they're being forced to pay, maybe they can make a more competitive offer or they can give more money out to somebody else and have them come in, at least make an attempt. Or some of these guys, they were acquired via trade originally, or they got out of their original franchise. Like the Rays had Glasnow and Snell in the 2020 World Series, and both of them are pitching for the Dodgers and winning a World Series this year. They both were traded out, or they both were just let go for, hand over fist, nothing. Things have got to change. You can salary cap is going to prevent growth of the game, but a salary floor is going to at least require all these managers to pay because in Baltimore they don't pay. The Nationals, they don't pay. We've got to have a much more of an involvement of all owners paying so then there are more opportunities that are fair contract offers going out to other different players. And that will help spread it out. But also, guys, like Braves, don't let Freddie Freeman out the door. You let Freddie Freeman out the door, he goes. Red Sox, you traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. Shame on you. What did you really get in return? What did you really get in return? Nothing. We have to have more of a general spending. As for the salary cap across the NFL, for an example, yes, there's a max, but it encourages all these owners to build out rosters and go for it every single year. We're seeing some owners who don't want to, they want to pitch pennies and they want to, live in a different world. You have to be on the same playing field and have to have a minimum spending requirement. There can't be teams with 250, $350 million salary rosters, and then some teams having 45, 50, $60 million rosters. That is where the problem is. If we make a minimum of, you have to have a roster of 150 mil, we're going to start paying some players. You have to pay at least, 26 on the roster. It's not like the NBA where you have 12 guys or 15 guys in there. The 15th guy on the roster is making $30 million. We're not getting that ridiculous, but you have to have a floor of something to encourage other owners to spend, or everyone else is going to flock to where they can get paid the most. At that point, it must become, even in European soccer, there are spending issues. There are requirements where you can't overspend and you have to maintain a sort of a target. We have to have something coming to that from Major League Baseball. It's not about who can spend the most money. It's other owners who refuse to spend. It's like, well, you know what? That limits my field. I used to have 30 teams that could pay me. Now I have 5. And I'm going to choose out of the 5 which one I want to go to. So I'll let that rest. That's my opinion. That's where I'm sticking with it. But in the end, what an amazing World Series. coming down to Game 7. So many clutch plays, and I'll dive into that in a second. But it just really had everyone on the edge of their seat. Just watching. My heart goes out for all people in Canada and Toronto, Blue Jay fans. You had it in your hands. It was so close. But you know what? The Dodgers made plays when it was needed, and you can't shake it on that one. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you so much. If you're a repeat, we really appreciate you coming back. This is another episode of the Power Alley Podcast. We're connected to Spinnable Sports Network. You can find us on all podcast platforms as well as the Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. I'm Fresh. You can find me on Twitter/X via SS_2Fresh. That is at SS_2Fresh. The SS is for Spinnable Sports. Don't forget that, Spinnable Sports. I'm a contributor to SpinnableSports.com and a co-host of our flagship podcast, the Irrational Confidence Podcast. You can find that on Twitter/X at IR Confidence Pod. That heavily focused on college football. So obviously being a football season, we are deep into that. And a lot of great discussions as the playoff committee starts looking at how they're going to set up their rankings as we move forward toward December. If you're looking for anything across the entire Spinnable Sports Network platform, Spinnable Sports at Spinnable Sports on Twitter/X and the core of our network. And don't forget the Power Alley Podcast. You can find it at Power Alley Pod, at Power Alley Pod on Twitter/X for anything instantaneous around the baseball world, especially now as we're wrapping up the World Series and heading into Hot Stove season. There's a lot of movement we're going to start seeing, whether it's trades and free agent signings. Looking back at the World Series, some of the clutch plays. I mean, Blue Jays broken hearts. You have a 3-2 lead. You go into Game 6 back home in Toronto. This is the first baseball season that started outside the United States, started in Japan, and ended technically outside the United States in Canada. Pretty cool. But you get the ball that lodges under the wall out there, what drove in 2 runs. You got to give credit to the Dodgers center fielder. He's not making tons of money, but he knew, let the ball sit under there. Don't try to touch it. You touch it, those runners are scoring. And you know what? Blue Jays probably win the World Series. He sort of puts his hands up, understands it's a rule. So, the play rules of the field, it's lodged, gets time called, everyone freezes, and then from there, they have runners on second and third with no outs, and the Blue Jays still can't score a run. The fact that you have runners on second and third with no outs, and you can't score a run after that just goes to the rest of the line. I think there's like 5 pitches taken in the next 3 batters. Out. They weren't clutch when they need to be. You can blame it all being there under, it's lodged under the wall, it's lodged under the padding. You had no outs with runners on second and third. You had 3 batters coming up, and they took a grand total of 5 pitches, and all were out. That's just not understanding the moment, not understanding how to drive the run and take pitches, settle in, deliver in the clutch. That didn't happen. Or Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, having his foot just on the bag and catching the ball and being ready for that applied force out at home, and the runner just being milliseconds behind and not being able to get in. Or, looking at just the play by Andy Paz in center field, running the ball down, making a great catch where Kiki Hernandez trying to do an over-the-shoulder catch probably wasn't going to make the play. Paz runs it down from center field, makes the play, ends the threat. Just Dodgers making plays when they had to. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Toronto could hit in the entire playoffs. The top 4 players across Major League Baseball in the playoffs with hits were all Blue Jays. Ernie Clement was a complete stud the entire playoff series, not just the World Series, but the entire playoff postseason. 30 hits in the postseason, hit 411. Vlad was right behind him, hitting 397 with 8 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 29 hits. Essen Barger had 22 hits, and George Springer had 19 hits. That's the top 4 in all of Major League Baseball postseason in hits. Ernie Clement with 30, Vlad with 29, Barger with 22, Springer with 19. Teoscar Hernandez was 5th. So it wasn't, you talk about guys who are mashing. Shohei and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts weren't hitting 400. They weren't putting up 30 hits. It was guys across the board. It was great pitching. The Blue Jays, though, they have veteran pitchers, but their offense was locked in the entire postseason. They were mashing. But when it mattered in 6 and 7, just couldn't find a way to get it done. Getting it done. Segue. Clayton Kershaw. Major League legend, pitching legend, gets his, 3rd ring, was obviously more of a prosperity element in the postseason this year, but had a clutch time where they went in, we were in late innings. He came in and got the 3 outs. Uh, had the 18 inning ball game where bases were loaded, and he found a way to just get out of the inning. He gave everything he had to in that 18 inning affair, which was epic, absolutely epic on October 28th. That game, you go 18 inning game required everybody and their mom to come out there and contribute offensively, defensively, pitching. And he came out there and gave an inning. It was clutch. Bases were loaded again. Blue Jays couldn't drive in a run. Blue Jays had your chances all the time. It was an 18 inning affair. You had bases loaded on Clayton Kershaw, and you couldn't get a run in to take the lead late. They shut it down. Clayton Kershaw, I mean, the dude, when his heyday, was a legit, clear cut #1 ace, Cy Young winner, 3 rings now from the World Series. I mean, got to tip your cap. Absolutely amazing. Speaking of pitching, the World Series MVP was Yamamoto. The guy went out there in back-to-back days at the very end. He had like basically a rubber arm, throwing 100 pitches and then jumps in. He threw 90 earlier in the series. Guy just kept delivering, and he wasn't just pitching. He was getting clutch outs, delivering key innings. Absolutely just worth every penny I think the Dodgers have paid for him. And he showed up when it mattered most. You got to give him credit. The guy pitching at this, late October into November, everyone's tired. And to be able to lock it in, remain focused, hit your spots with your speed, with the velocity, with the spin rate, all the other fun stuff, completely locked in and getting outs, not just trying to get strikeouts, but like I need to make pitches to get outs, reduce my, keep my team involved, but get the outs and get back in the dugout to win a ball game. And here they did it. And he was the poster child, well deserving of the MVP. Because in the postseason, 2 starts plus finishing off in Game 7, definitely locked it in for the Dodgers to win a World Series. And pitching in general for the entire playoffs, Yamamoto, Snell, Sasaki outside from the bullpen, Glasnow, Ohtani, Kershaw, and a host of middle relievers, they all locked it in when they had to. They got the job done. They got outs. They didn't try to pitch fancy and try to, dance around the strike zone. They attacked the Blue Jays hitters, knowing the Blue Jays hitters were good. But in a 7-game series, they had enough pitching to shut it down and get it done. It wasn't on the Blue Jays side. You had Scherzer, Gausman, Testevich was amazing. He pitched a great, fantastic entire postseason. Hoffman, but they just couldn't. There a host of guys just could not. Varland, they just could not find ways to shut down the Dodgers when it mattered in clutch moments. And in the end, that's why the Dodgers won the World Series. Another extra inning game in Game 7, and they found a way to persevere and win another ring. You got to give them credit. You can blame, oh, they have so much money. They wouldn't have all those pitchers. They didn't have all the money. Well, you know what? Like I mentioned earlier, Snell and Glasnow were Rays. The Rays let them both walk. Snell goes to the Padres. The Padres couldn't lock him up. Glasnow was also in Pittsburgh before he went to Tampa. These guys all weren't just sitting around in the Dodgers organization the entire time. Well, other teams did not want to get the job done and have these guys extended long. Whether the teams were terrible or they didn't want to actually pay them, but they made decisions they made. Eventually, the Dodgers start bringing players in. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles right now in the NFL. They're acquiring players left and right. Look at sometimes guys will take pay cuts, but other times the teams are willing to actually go out there and spend the money to get it done. You wish you have an owner. As a Brewers fan, Mark Antonaccio is cheap. He does not pay. We all know it. It's a philosophy that's been paying off, but in the playoffs, there aren't enough stud guys who are ready to deliver. The Dodgers have those guys. And remember, the Dodgers are first in payroll, and it's not exactly a David and Goliath situation because the Blue Jays are fifth in payroll. They are paying dudes too. Max Scherzer's not cheap. Jose Barrios, who didn't even pitch in the postseason, not cheap. Gausman, not cheap. Shane Bieber, not cheap. There are guys who are getting paid. Let's face facts, folks. The Blue Jays are paying people too. Speaking of paying people, let's move to we're in the the beginnings of the offseason. All manager jobs are being opened up. There's two that I really want to talk about. Tony Vitello going from Tennessee to the San Francisco Giants. He built Tennessee. He'd been around college baseball for a long time, but never managed at the major league level, has not managed at the minor league level. So this is a big jump. How can he manage the San Francisco Giants the same ways he managed the Tennessee Volunteer baseball team who won a national championship a couple of years ago? It's going to be very interesting. Buster Posey obviously running the entire organization. I think Bruce Bochy, as of today, November 6th, is taking an advisory role with the Giants. There's going to be people in his ear. But how does he get respect of those players? And how does he get them to play and go win championships? Right now, if you're a Giants fan or a Padres fan, you're seeing your biggest rival win back-to-back World Series and they're third out of fifth. You've got to be able to fight back. Interesting to see how the Giants do there because they spend money. They just don't have the leadership to deliver. On the other side, the Atlanta Braves. Brian Snitker retires. Tremendous, career with the Atlanta Braves organization, managing all over the place, delivered them a World Series. It feels like the new hire just laid flat on their face. Walt Weiss is taken up from a bench coach to manager. Very deflating. Made some serious, coaching staff changes as well. The Braves have players. The Braves have talent. I think last year was a couple of injuries, the slow start injuries, so Acuna Jr. had kind of held them back. But Walt Weiss feels like a very flat hire that some Braves fans are even kind of like, well, season's already over. It's a 3-year deal with an option for a fourth. Looking for more futility from the Braves. We'll see. But Walt Weiss has already managed once. Can he actually learn from that experience and change it and get this Braves team to play to their potential? Because Olsen, Albies, Riley, the catching situation, Drake Baldwin there has been great. And you kind of look, they still need a shortstop and sort of set up the corner outfield spots a little more solidified and then have Acuna Jr. out there and then the pitching staff with Sale and, the rest of the host of guys. There are chances, but they need to deliver. The Mets are going to spend tons of money. The Marlins have young talent. But you have to find ways to show up because the Phillies are going to spend money too, and the Phillies have some players, older players. But right now, the chance is there for the Braves. You have to get your guys going. The window is open to win. Is Walt Weiss the guy? We'll find out. I'm not so sure. I don't think it was a great hire, but we will find out here very soon if the Braves can actually maximize the window and go get themselves back to the World Series. And you get to the World Series by developing great young players, by making savvy trades, and also either retaining or signing free agents. Right now, the free agent field as of today, Kyle Schwarber, obviously the crown jewel. Everyone wants a big power left-handed bat, can play a little bit of right field, but mostly a DH. The dude can match. I think he's going back to the Phillies. We'll have a slight chance he can go maybe leave, but if you're the Phillies, you have to keep him back. Him and Bryce Harper in the lineup with Trey Turner it creates a lot of problems for the opposing offense, and Schwarber just feels like he's a Philly guy. Pete Alonso is also a free agent, opted out. Is it worth him going back to the Mets? I mean, the Mets have money. I think that experiment, in my opinion, should be over. One thing I'm going to say, might not be a bad idea for him to go to Toronto. If the Blue Jays want to really make a run at this offensively, Toronto, Bo Bichette leaving, put Pete Alonso at first or Pete Alonso in the DH spot, him and Vladdy, the Vlad's on that massive contract. The two of them go back and forth. You got Santander out there who didn't really play much in the postseason in right field. Then you have a meat of a lineup because you have a bunch of young guys who are also playing. I don't think it'll happen, but that'd be interesting to see because they would give the Blue Jays then fire to still hold off the Yankees and Red Sox who are coming. Deep down, I think Pete Alonso stays in New York. He just wants him to keep fighting for a better deal and resetting the market. He'll be a Met, and we'll move on from there. Cody Bellinger, though, opted out of his deal with the Yankees, had a major bounce back season, absolutely tremendous. His opportunity is wide open because he can DH, he can play the outfield. His destination, I have no clue. I don't think he's going to return to the Yankees because they have a bunch of young up and coming outfielders they have to really spend money on. But Bellinger right now reset the market, and I think he can go anywhere he wants. And it could actually be an interesting fit back in Chicago with the Cubs if Kyle Tucker leaves, which I think all signs are pointing he's going to officially never go back to the Cubs. So Cody Bellinger could go back to the Cubs. That could be a nice little fit. Bo Bichette at shortstop, injured most of the season. What's his market really like? Obviously, shortstop's a crown jewel position. Does he give him a discount a little back to the Blue Jays and sort of have his market reset and go back? There's teams out there that need shortstops. The Brewers are one of them. Who's willing to spend money on Bo? He can hit. If I was Bo, I would want to go back to Toronto, but the market is wide open for him right now. And the Braves could pay, so they desperately need a shortstop. Mets have Lindor, so they're out. Marlins aren't signing him. Phillies have Trey Turner, they're not signing him. So right there at the East, don't think he's going to Boston. The Yankees do need a shortstop. Blue Jays need a shortstop. Not going to Baltimore. Don't really see him signing anywhere in the American League Central. NL Central, Cardinals, they have a young one and win. Cubs have taken care of it. The Brewers need one. Pirates aren't doing it. Reds aren't doing it. Dodgers aren't going to do it. but maybe because Mookie could play second. I mean, there's flexibility there. I would hate to see it. Not going to Seattle, not going to Colorado, not going to Arizona, not going to Houston, not going to Texas. There's limited segment for both, so it's either Brewers, Yankees, or Blue Jays, or Braves are the top four teams from that perspective. Look at the Cubs. Shota Imanaga opted out of his deal. I think he's going to pitch for the. You got to watch the Dodgers in their situation. Going back there, bringing all the Japanese pitchers together on one team, it just feels like an easy fit. I don't think he wants to be a Cub. I think they're ready to move on. He's in his 30s, but you put Shota out there with Yamamoto and Sasaki and Otani, it's going to build a brand that's even bigger, and it's going to drive that market money up. They're going to have a bigger media contract with Japanese media, and they're going to just keep paying people. Kyle Tucker, another player I think could easily go back to Houston, which I think they would love to have back in Houston. He had a terrible season this past year with the Cubs. But Dodgers also, they need corner outfielders. Teoscar's great, but Kyle Tucker's younger. You put that power bat out there, it's ridiculous. Another team to watch, could Kyle Tucker go play for the Phillies? Especially if they lose Schwarber. You have Tucker there as a DH/right fielder. It would be an easy fit. Alex Bregman opted out. Him wide open. I couldn't even tell you. There's some people that need third baseman, second baseman, DHs. Houston a return. The Yankees, Ryan McMahon is the third baseman, but Bregman's an upgrade. I'm just putting out there, spitballing. Relief pitching and pitching. Edwin Diaz opted out of his deal with the Mets. Robert Suarez, the closer, the most saves in the NL for the National League for the Padres this past year, opted out. Those two guys are going to get paid. Michael King, the starting pitcher for the Padres, he's going to get paid. I'm not even starting to predict who these guys are going to go because pitching is crazy. Dylan Cease, free agent, going to get paid. Devin Williams, former Brewers closer, rough year with the Yankees. He's technically free agent. Can he refine his form and change it? I think you can probably get him at a lower amount because he had such a rough year. Do the Brewers pony up and have reunite him with the pitching lab there in Milwaukee? Or does he find a home maybe somewhere in St. Louis because he is originally from St. Louis? And we're looking for third base help. Eugenio Suarez had an amazing season. Getting a little older, but had an amazing season. Does he go back to the Mariners? Does he return to Arizona where he had the great start of the season? There's teams that need third base help all over the place. He can pick where he wants to go. Ranger Suarez with Phillies and Framber Valdez, some mid-tier starting pitchers. If anyone needs some depth, they're out there. But a really cool one to keep an eye on. Third baseman Manataka Murakama from Japan being posted. It's either LA, the Dodgers, or the Seattle Mariners, keeping that West Coast connection. The Dodgers would be a great fit because Max Muncy has a club option, but probably not going to be picked up. He can come there and plug right in at third base. And again, building all the Japanese players in one spot. Seattle also with the Suarez, if they don't re-sign him, already have a meeting at third base. Their roster, though, saw some major upgrades when they came down the stretch, but they still have some offense they need to replace on that team. So one of those two spots, the Ichiro element might help draw him to the Mariners. In addition to free agents, you've got some trade targets are out there. Just spitballing myself. We all know Freddie Peralta is currently in Milwaukee Brewers, just got a new agent. The Brewers do not extend young pitchers. He's been extended a couple times, but they don't give a massive long-term deal to aging pitchers. And I use aging very loosely. I love fastball Freddie. He is an absolute stud. He carried the Brewers. Should win Paul Skeens, the Cy Young National League this year. I just don't think the Brewers are going to. He's in the last year of his deal. We've seen it before with Hader. We saw it last year with Devin Williams. They're going to, unfortunately, they're probably going to trade him. Who needs starting pitching? I hate to see it. I was like, this is where I talk about we need a floor to spend. The Brewers do spend money to keep them around, and they won't do it. They've been successful, but eventually you're going to get burned by not keeping some of your young players and really keeping them long term. You signed Yelich to long term contract, and that has been filled with injuries and playoff futility. Freddie Peralta, a big name to watch, especially as the winter meetings come down. But the trade market, and in his name, though, will fall behind Tarik Skubal. There's a huge rumor that the Detroit Tigers are looking to trade Skubal and maximize his effort, then not want to sign him. Again, there's no reason the Tigers should let Skubal out the door. It's probably going to happen. So where Skubal goes, Peralta will probably follow as a second tier, and Skubal will set the market. Being younger will probably help him, but the two of them are going to be the top tier for pitching targets. And those two will probably set the free agent market once their destinations are determined. There's a lot of talk that this Nick Castellanos with Phillies sort of, excuse me, has seen his playing time in Philly sort of tear down. I got a feeling he's going to be traded out. Just get rid of his contract, reset that. He's getting older in the outfield, and go try to find someone else to fill the spot. One other item that's going to put out there, I don't think it'll happen, but the Minnesota Twins are going to reset. Maybe need to trade Byron Buxton. That franchise, you have fallen to third in the fourth in the AL Central, way behind. You had a fire sale this past offseason. Do you want to maximize the rebuild and just let Byron Buxton do good by him by getting him somewhere he can be successful and win while you reset the entire franchise? That you have to think about his feelings too. I mean, he said he wants to be a Philly for a Twin for life, but there are chances, and you can help expedite that rebound, that return, by sending Byron Buxton somewhere where he'll have a chance to win, and the Twins will be able to maximize prospects and really be financially stable as well. I would really like to see Buxton get traded to a serious contender. It won't be the Yankees, but imagine Buxton being sent to, a location like the Padres, like the Giants, looking contender spot. I don't think he's gonna get traded to the Cubs because you have PCA in center. Probably not getting traded to the Brewers because you have, Churio out there. Could he go to Philly and play at center field for the Phillies? Could he go to play the Yankees and give just him out there and Judge? They need bats. This is the time where we need to make moves. I think Byron Buxton deserves to get out of Minnesota and have a chance to win and really show off his skills because he had a heck of a year. It's also award season. They don't do an award show like they go to Vegas and all that nonsense. The baseball writers just have their announcement. Most of the guys are already in the offseason, but the official announcement dates for the Baseball Writers Association Awards: November 10th, Rookies of the Year for the AL and NL; November 11th, the Managers of the Year; November 12th, the Cy Young; and November 13th, we will find out the MVPs for the American League and National League. My picks for National League MVP is Shohei. He's just an absolute stud, whether it's pitching or hitting. The dude can just mash. The AL MVP, I know there's a lot of controversy. Oh, it should be Aaron Judge. He has amazing offensive stats, blah, blah, blah. It's Cal Raleigh. The dude had to go. He was a catcher. He had to call the game and hit. And he set records for catchers offensively that will probably never be broken ever again. Didn't do it as a DH, didn't do it as a part-time catcher. He caught every day behind the plate. He was going through the wear and tear that, look, Aaron Judge can DH for a day and just come up 3 or 4 times and that's it. Cal Raleigh's catching all 9 innings and getting up there and mashing at the plate. That right there is something that you cannot measure with a statistic. We all have eyes. We saw it. He won the home run derby. He dominated throughout the entire season. He delivered in the postseason, and he caught every inning. You got to put him in the AL MVP situation. He deserved it. He is the most valuable player. Without Cal Raleigh, the Mariners aren't what they were. They are not winning the division. They are not going to the ALCS. It's just an overall ho-hum season up there in the Pacific Northwest. National League Cy Young, Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies and Freddie Peralta made it very, very close. They're absolute studs, but Paul Skeens, just the dude just gets it done. And the time is ticking on when he's about to depart Pittsburgh. AL Cy Young, Tarek Skubal, untouchable, absolute beast. I would love for the Tigers to sign him long term, keep him there, but they are a small market. I think they're going to trade him, try to get a haul, but their window's wide open. There's no reason to trade him. There's no reason to trade him. The window's wide open for the Tigers to go. You need to maximize the time. NL Manager of the Year, Pat Murphy going back to back for the Brewers. That team, most wins, led the league in runs, led the league in wins, had the number 1 overall seed technically, multiple 10-game winning streaks. Pat Murphy's got to have the back-to-back Manager of the Year. That's the small market of small markets, and he got it done with a bunch of no-name players who had to work together to play hard, kept the pitching staff together, managed it all top to bottom. Didn't deliver in the postseason, but that's just it is what it is. But for the regular season, got it done. The other side, AL Manager of the Year, John Schneider with the Blue Jays. They finally got it. They finally delivered, got to the World Series. They won the AL East over the Yankees and the Red Sox. Had the number 2 overall seed, the best record in the American League. They delivered. He got the entire team to play as one, putting some young pitchers out there, some young players who delivered, like Barger and Clement to really highlight that. Savage as well. No-name players who showed up and got them pushed the right buttons, was able to deliver when it mattered. And a Rookie of the Year, 3 very good candidates between Drake Baldwin, the catcher for the Braves, Caleb Durbin, the third baseman for the Brewers, starting pitcher Cade Horton. You could even throw Isaac Collins. He made a case. Had about a week and a half off. The outfield is tough, but that week and a half off for some injuries and the birth of a child. Maybe that took some stats away why he's not a finalist, because I think he had better stats than Caleb Durbin. I'm not in the voting committee, but I think Collins would have been a better fit over Durbin. But Durbin's a good player. But in the end, Cade Horton was the absolute stud for the Cubs and the pitching staff. He led them. He really picked it up. So Cade Horton for the Cubs is my rookie of the year in the National League. AL Rookie of the Year. You're not going to go wrong with either of these two candidates. They both play for the Athletics. Jacob Wilson, toe to toe, great player. Nick Kurtz came in midway through the season and showed that power from the left side of the bat, left side of the plate, and was able to mash, crushing home runs, not just hit them, crushing home runs left and right. I'm going to give Jacob Wilson defensively and for the entire season the AL Rookie of the Year in my spot, but Nick Kurtz gave him a very, very tough spot because he delivered too. He delivered more of the eye-popping, highlights, but Jacob Wilson hit well over 300, delivered defensively, was a great leader of that young Athletics team, well deserving for AL Rookie of the Year. And a reliever of the year goes to Suarez. Robert Suarez, the closer for the Padres, had 40 saves, led the National League. And the AL reliever of the year, Andres Munoz, the closer for the Mariners, had a lot of big time saves down the stretch of the regular season and in the postseason. 38 saves for total. Both those guys were very, very clutch and delivered for their teams out there in the West Coast. Got them both in the postseason. Had the success they wanted, but they both were there. Now we're looking at the final. Everyone has like their final All-Star teams. Who is their first team this and first team that? Well, all 2025 MLB starting nine. I'm not gonna do pitchers, but I already named my Cy Young, but all starting nine based on position. AL doesn't matter. Come at me in the mentions. Come at me on Spinnable Sports. Come at me in the comments. Send me stuff on Twitter if you agree or disagree. My first baseman's Freddie Freeman. My second baseman's Bryce Terang. My third baseman's Jose Ramirez. My shortstop is Bobby Witt Jr. My outfielders, Aaron Judge, Alonso, Riley Green. My DH, Kyle Schwarber, and my catcher, Cal Raleigh. That is my all 2025 MLB starting nine. All those guys in their own way, offensively and defensively, delivered. Juan Soto quietly had a great year. After getting the big contract, had a rough early start, but he ended up showing up when it mattered late. Aaron Judge delivered, even had some injuries. Bobby Witt delivered. Jose Ramirez put the Guardians on his back and got them to the postseason. Bryce Terang, defensively fantastic. Steals bases, hit almost 300. Doubles, runs scored. The fire starter for the offense just was invisible in the postseason, unfortunately. But the regular season, he was there. And Freddie Freeman is just an absolute master at first base. I don't care any way you want to chop it up. It was an amazing season, tons of excitement, attendance, viewership, all of it. Engagement through social media, everything is just through the roof, record setting across the board. And the one sad thing is that this 2026 season we're going into might be the last full baseball season we have for a while because there is a lockout coming in 2027. I don't care what you say. So enjoy the 2026 season. We'll prep it up. It starts with the World Baseball Classic, but a lockout is looming in 2027. So 2026, hopefully we don't have it and they don't destroy something that's building. It's beautiful. But baseball right now is back and it's very popular. It has everyone's energy. It has everyone's excitement. A 2027 lockout could absolutely destroy it, maybe destroy the league forever. Let's see what happens in 2026. We'll talk a lot about that during the offseason and the hot stove time, but it is something to keep on the horizon as we embrace the 2025, 2026 offseason and spring training opens in February. Speaking of the World Baseball Classic, one thing that we've been doing the entire season is building out our Team USA for the World Baseball Classic, trying to help out Mark DeRosa, putting together the roster. Coming into this episode, we have 24 of the 26. This will be the last reveal, our final overall team who we want to have for Team USA. Aaron Judge and Paul Skeens were named to the team, so obviously they are locked in. Guys that we added in, Zach Wheeler and Kyle Schwarber. Yes, I know Zach Wheeler's out and probably will not be pitching in March in spring training. It'll be a late start, but we had him on while he's still healthy, staying on my team and not dropping him because of injury. Kyle Schwarber, obviously a masher, is a stud. Mookie Betts, who can play second base, shortstop, outfield, making my team. Josh Hader, who can be my closer or just a mid-relief guy on that Team USA squad. As speed from the left side is just ridiculous and hard to attack. Bobby Witt Jr., we actually had him announced before Mark DeRosa did, so Bobby Witt Jr. is our starting shortstop. Griffin Jacks, solid relief pitcher for the Twins on my squad. Nolan Arenado playing third base. His defense at third base is undeniable. We have offense. I need some guy to hold down the hot corner. That's Nolan Arenado, and he was on the team last time they won the World Baseball Classic. You need a great guy who can deliver in clutch but also play great defense. Jason Adam, relief pitcher for the Padres. Yes, I know he got injured late in the season, but the dude's resume is impeccable when it comes to mid relief. You put him out there, he can close if you need to, but you get a bridge guy who can shut it down, especially in a World Baseball Classic setting. I want Jason Adam on my team. Cal Raleigh was our catcher. We had him picked before Mark DeRosa officially announced him. So Cal Raleigh's our catcher. Mason Miller, closer slash relief pitcher, putting him out there. You need as many studs in the bullpen, especially in a March setting where starting pitchers are getting ramped up. You need to extend innings. Give me Mason Miller in my bullpen. We also have Riley Green in the outfield and starting pitcher Tarek Skubal. Skubal can do 3 innings, give you stretch starts, come in late, get some work in, but also pitch. That left-handed, that stud southpaw will drive other hitters crazy in the World Baseball Classic. Moving forward with our roster, Pete Alonso, the big polar bear at first base. Tyler Rogers in relief. You just need a solid middle relief guy who can get you in and out of some trouble. Corbin Carroll from the Diamondbacks. Garrett Crochet, the starting pitcher for the Red Sox. You can put him at long relief. You can have him come out to starting rotation. He's going to get work, but he'll deliver. Bryce Terang and Logan Webb, great solid second baseman who can run, can play anywhere you need. And Logan Webb is almost underrated starting pitcher probably in baseball out there for the Giants. Getting toward the bottom so far of our roster, adding Freddie Freeman. You can play first. You can have a DH. Him and you can just move him around between Schwarber and Pete Alonso himself. It just gives you a lot of opportunities. Jeff Hoffman, the closer for the Blue Jays. Outfielder Byron Buxton, who can play most likely center naturally, but can play left or right. His speed is also dangerous. Blake Snell, another lefty out of the rotation. That's our 24 of 26 on our roster. We're going to fill the last 2 spots right now. We need another catcher. We're adding Will Smith. Will Smith from the Dodgers. The dude delivers. He's worth every penny. Absolute beast. You put him out there. You can also have Kyle go DH. Have Will Smith pitch. Come out there and catch. The two of them are 1-2 punch. Will be dominant. Then our last spot, just to help solidify the bullpen, Trevor McGill from the Brewers has 51 saves the last 2 years, ERA of 2.72 and 2.49 the last 2 years as a Brewers closer, has a 3.5 K to walk ratio and a whip of 1.01 and 1.13 the last 2 years. He would have had a little more saves if he wasn't injured the last five or 6 weeks of the season this past year. The dude has a beast of a cannon and he can deliver. And you put some more studs in the back of the bullpen. That's what you want to get so you shorten the game. You give me 6 innings out of your starters. The last 3 plus will be all your bullpen guys. You're just knocking them out one at a time. That's our full 26 Team USA, who we hope are on that squad in March. You can go out there and bring home the World Baseball Classic title. We'll talk more about that as we get closer and how some of the other rosters, the other countries are looking. But Team USA is set. You just kind of imagine the lineup. Aaron Judge or Byron Buxton in center. Mookie Betts or Bryce Terang at second. Cal Raleigh, Will Smith the catcher. Schwarber can be anybody in the DH spot, but anybody else could fill in. Bobby Witt Jr., you can also have Mookie Betts sliding behind him. Pete Alonso or Freddie, Riley Green and Mookie Betts in left field. Nolan Arenado, Mookie Betts or Corbin Carroll in right field, or Byron Buxton in right field. Way you can just have a roster rotation. And look at the starting pitchers we have. Imagine they're all healthy. Skeens, Skubal, Wheeler, Crochet, Webb, and Snell. Right, left, right, left, right, left. I want 6 because spring training, but if you had 5 out there and you had an extra bullpen guy, that'd be fine. And then the bullpen, Josh Hader, Griffin Jacks, Jason Adam, Mason Miller, Tyler Rogers, Jeff Hoffman, and then Trevor McGill. You're getting dudes you can lock it down different ways. If this was the roster, we should be dominating and at least be setting up for a great series versus Team Japan. I think we have the guys to beat Team Japan. Wrapping up our final power rankings for the season and a big deep drive to left, the last go around. Dodgers number 1, obviously. Blue Jays number 2. Seattle Mariners finished 3. Brewers are 4. Phillies are 5. Cubs are 6. Yankees are 7. Tigers 8. Guardians 9. Red Sox 10. And our bottom 5, Rockies the worst. White Sox right above them. Nationals, Pirates, and then Twins. We're going to have a lot of shakeup this offseason. We are going to have a couple episodes that deal with the hot stove as soon as trades and things go down. We'll have one episode coming to you from the baseball winter meetings, which usually happens early December. So stay tuned for that, everybody. MLB Network is a great also resource. But in the end, SpinnableSports.com. Anything you might need, Spinnable Sports on Twitter. Follow the Power Alley Podcast on Twitter at Power Alley Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at any point for all sports at SS_2Fresh. I'm a contributor to SpinnableSports.com and a co-host of our flagship podcast, the Irrational Confidence Podcast. You can find that on Twitter/X at IR Confidence Pod. Anything SpinnableSports.com, Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. Spread the word. Hit us in the comments. Retweet, share, engage. We want to hear from every single one of you. It's been an amazing season in 2025. We're in now into the hot stove season. Who's going to make moves? Who's going to sign as free agents? Where the trade's going to go? How are the rosters going to shape out as we open up spring training in February 2026? We'll have a lot of content coming your way during the winter. And until next time, we'll get more chatter from the Power Alley. Bye, y'all.